Round 11. 11! How have I got here? I mean, I was gassed by round 3. There was nothing left in the tank, and I was considering, in these last rounds, even pulling the referee in front of me to take some of those blows. The barrage of blows, ladies and gentlemen, that I have taken on this hirsute chin. That's why I've grown the beard. Hopefully you'll think that my chin is this long, and therefore will just keep missing by just grazing the beard. Ha-ha! It's my fiendish plan. Time, though, to start putting it on and turning it on in the last couple of rounds. Ooh, I'm a bit itchy. Ooh, my nose is a bit itchy. I think I might need a bit of an antihistamine because I'm a bit itchy on the chestal area as well. Ooh. Anyway, time to turn it on in the last round because I haven't so far. I'm aware of that. And this is, for your delectation and delight, the business of boxing with your host, Steve Swift. Steve Swift! Steve Swift! Or the man with the pugilistic plan. The plan is to have an injury and not have to fight. Now, let me start with some of the boxing of boxing. Unfortunately, well, I haven't seen the Shakur Stevenson fight. Why have I missed it? I don't know. I kept intending to watch it and I haven't done. What I did watch are two really rather poor fights. Yeah, so first of all, Alan the Savage Babbage, who, Alan the Savage Babbage, I really like him. I mean, the clue's in the title, isn't it? He is fighting out of the UK, and he is a heavyweight, and he was knocked out within about 10 seconds in this fight. And he actually was not expected. I mean, a few months ago, he was thought to be, so I'm still itchy, you know. He was thought to be somebody who was rather big. He was thought to be somebody who was the coming heavyweight. And the great thing about him was that, well, you could say it's the great thing about him. I was entertained by it. But part of me thought, I can't see this lasting long. He didn't really have very much defence. There was hardly any defence whatsoever. I mean, he was hard and tough, and if you got a punch in, that was all right. But early on in his career, he started to take some punches and started to show that he might not have had the chin that you need if you are just going to deliver lots of punches and leave yourself open because there's no defence. Or head movement come to that, or come for that, I don't really mind. And he was down within 10 seconds and out. He did the two-step. He did the referee, how many fingers have I held it up? How many chances do I get? He did that. Well, he didn't exactly do that, but he was on rubber leg street, Gorilla. And it's really sad, but interesting to see a heavyweight go from, he's a fantastic prospect, folks, to, it's 6 months later and actually, we were wrong. So it's just such a shame when boxing does this. And it's also such a shame when boxing micturates on its own legacy. Because that is sometimes what I believe. Micturates. Yeah, micturates. That's correct. You can look that up if you like, ladies and gentlemen. It means weeing. 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 Urinating. That's what it means. That's what it means. It's naughty. Naughty. Anyway, I don't like it when it micturates all over its own legacy. And that is what I believe that kind of blue-collar influencer, that sort of boxing does. And that's what it did this weekend with Nate Diaz, who, remember, I reported last week that somebody had said, I reported that somebody else had reported, that's the way it goes on social media, folks, that somebody had said in his press conference, when you lose, will you give up? And he was very angry about that. And I'm still itchy, you know. I've got a bit of a feather in my nose. Maybe. Could be the cat's. Cat hair. Anyway, his entourage apparently chased down the gent. I don't think they found him, but they apparently chased him down and all of that. And he showed, Nate Diaz showed a bit of upset. And I wish he had done that in his match against Jorge Masvidal, because, blimey, it was poor. The thing is, some people enjoyed this fight, and there's nothing wrong with this, because it was just wailing away. I'm going to try and punch you. I'm going to try and punch you back. Nearly dropped the phone then, you know. Trying to punch you back. All of that. And some people like that, but the punches from both of them, but especially from Nate Diaz, it was as if his hands were made of cotton wool. Oh, 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 that sort of, it's like a little massage on my face. Oh, it's nice that. Oh, do you know, feeling you're breaking down all of the fat it's nice. Oh, what do I owe you for that? 40 quid. Oh, it's lovely. Lovely. Half an hour of face massage. Very nice. That's what it was like. It was almost as if he thought, I can't be too bothered, really. I'm not all that bothered about this. It's not really... There wasn't much pace. There wasn't much energy. It did seem as though it was something that they both had to do because they'd been told to do it. It's like, I don't want to wash the car, but for the pocket money, I'm going to have to do that. I don't want to do my taxes, but I'm going to have to sit down and do them. I mean, I personally have an accountant for that. But, you know, I don't want to do it, and I'm doing it with a bad grace. And, oh, if I have to, it's that. Oh, all right then. But some people enjoyed the action of it. I just didn't think there was any intent behind the punches. I just thought it was as if they were showing us they could do it. It's like, here is a simulacrum. Yeah, here's an example of what we can do. Of course, when we do the actual fight, we're really going to put some power behind it. Now, this is the actual fight. Is it? Oh, it's too late now to do anything. All right. So that was next week. That sort of thing. So it wasn't a good night for boxing. And it hasn't been good in general. Oh, dear. Right. This week's business of boxing is going to be dominated by one person. Do you know who this might be? Do you know who this might be? Well, it's not Oscar de la Hoya, but he's up first because his Golden Boy Promotions, it is reported, has had some issues around Canelo Alvarez saying, well, I didn't get paid everything that I should have done for one of the fights that they promoted. So I think they're still in some kind of litigation about it. I'm not quite sure. But certainly there's been some reports around that. Now Devin Haney is saying that he didn't get the full amount of money from the Ryan Garcia fight. He'll be here later, folks. I mean, have no fear. Ryan's here. He's always here, isn't he? Although he might be gone for a little bit of time. More of that in a minute. So Ryan Garcia has already given the buys. He revealed the buys, the pay-per-view buys, because he wanted to show that he could sell more than Tank Davis. Or he and Devin Haney could. And indeed, that seems to be the case. I think Tank did the 450,000. And I think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia did 500, something like that. But anyway, Devin Haney has now said that he hasn't got the amount of money that he should have got from that fight. This fight is never going to end, is it? It's never going to end. We're always going to get somebody saying, I think he was... I've still got this thing in my nose, you know. I'm not going to be so nasty as to do any of that business or flick it about or anything like that. Or even, I don't know, why do people eat their own snot? They're boogers, as it's called. We call them bogies. Boogers. Why do people do that? I've never liked it. And it's not as if they're flavoured, is it? It's not as if there's apple flavour or I never knew I'd get Loganberry up there. Now, the fight will never end. It will never end. I think, because what we'll have lots of people talking about it. Ryan Garcia's involved. And it just seems that when fights become a little bit newsworthy or a little bit business of boxing-y, that's the word I'm using, boxing-y, they just don't stop. And it's almost as if people are trying to find a thing to say to make us remember that. Do you remember when I did that fight? You know, I think his tassels on his boots were too long. I might speak to the governing bodies for that. Now, talking of the governing bodies, we'll have more of this in a minute, but let's talk first of all about, I think, it looks like, is it Canelo Alvarez is fighting Chris Eubank Jr.? Is he going to do that? Is he going to fight him? I think they said he was. Chris, I mean, it's a good opportunity for you, Chris. It's a good opportunity. I just think it's like being a graduate trainee. You don't really know what you're going to get until you get to your first day. And some people, or it's like being in the SAS, I suppose. You don't really know. I mean, you can do as many obstacle courses as you like, but actually, once you get there, it jumps up a notch. And you think, I mean, I would know this being an ex-SAS myself. Yeah, silly average sausage is what it is. Not S. What does SAS stand for? Is it save all sausages? SAS. What is it? Is it? I used to know that. The SAS. So maybe somebody can tell me. Anyway, it will be it's a big chance. Unless I'm remembering this wrong, and he's fighting somebody else, but I don't think so. Now, let's just talk before we go into the Ryan Garcia zone. The Garcia zone in Technicolor. We've got Simon Jordan, who in the UK is an entrepreneur. He owned a football club at one point. He's now a broadcaster. He's a businessman. And what he said is that he's not so sure that Anthony Joshua will... AJ to his friends. Hey, AJ, you all right? Oh, it's Anthony, is it? Right. Oh, sir. Right. Fair enough. Thought we had a bit more of a relationship, but obviously not. Not like Cole Froch, who apparently has got his number saved on his WhatsApp. Anthony Joshua knew too. Not sure. Anyway, Simon Jordan has said on his... I presume it's on his radio, on the radio show he does. It's a sports radio show, I think. And I haven't really researched it because I can't be bothered. But he said, and this is interesting, and when I first heard this, I thought, oh, for goodness sake. But actually, I think there's some kind of veracity. I'm using the words tonight, aren't I? Veracity to this. I think when he said that AJ, who I suppose people are saying, when he fights Dubois, he's gonna marmalise him. Marmalise him. There's a Ken Dodd phrase. If you're not aware of Ken Dodd, just YouTube him. He's extraordinary, or he was anyway. Now, he's going to really beat him easily. But what Simon Jordan said is, well, yeah, I mean, he came off 2 fights against Usyk. Remember, Dynamite Dubois. Some people thought he beat Usyk. He didn't, and some people thought that punch wasn't low. It was, but Anthony Joshua came off 2 losses, which really affected him from Usyk, and he clearly tried to box him, tried to do all sorts, couldn't do it. And he's then fought Filip Hrgović and Francis Ngannou. So really, what Jordan has said is he hasn't really been hit by anybody. He's probably right. And when people are saying, it's Hrgović or Otto Wallin, isn't it? And when people are saying, oh, he's back to his best, he's back to that nastiness. I mean, against Wallin, he showed that kind of aggression. But there is I can understand why Jordan is saying, actually, he's not really been badly hit and hurt. And if Dubois catches him, that's going to be interesting. Dubois is the smaller man, but I think he's got a lot of power. It's going to be interesting. Much more interesting than I originally thought. But not as interesting as Ryan Garcia. The WBC have suspended because of anti-black and anti-Muslim or Islam, I think Muslim comments he made. For instance, comparing himself to the KKK. I mean, that's not really going to be something that people say, oh, yeah, you compare yourself to the KKK, do you? Oh, right, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. No one's going to say that. No one's going to say that. So it's like saying, well, I compare myself to another similar boxer. Yeah, that's okay, yeah. I compare myself to Shakur Stevenson. Oh, yeah. Well, I compare myself to John F. Kennedy. I'm not too sure about that. well, the KKK is going to be even bigger, isn't it? It's not ideal. So he's been suspended from having any other fights with the WBC. Now, WBC, big players. Mauricio Sullivan, big players. He's announced recently, Ryan Garcia, that he will go into rehab. And he's sort of saying that, I mean, he's going to be, when he comes out, training his brother. He won't be boxing, will he? And maybe he's going to do one of those reality TV rehab things. But it's good news, isn't it? Because he needs to look to his brand. And if he's not looking to his brand, as I keep saying, look at my beard shedding. I don't keep saying that. Well, actually, I do. But what I keep saying is about his brand. And if he's concentrating on his brand, because, folks, he's got nothing else. Not right now. He's got his brand. He's got the business of boxing, the boxing of boxing, finished for a year. So he needs to sort out his brand. He's taken a step back by saying, folks, I'm going to rehab. Which makes you think, oh, he's realised he's got the demons. He's been arrested recently. He's made these comments and others in the past. He's been inappropriate in certain ways. Let us now give him another chance. I don't know whether it's heartfelt. I don't know. I'm assuming it is, and I'm assuming that's great. And I'm assuming that it's brilliant that he's done that. And I'm really pleased he's done it. But just think if it isn't. Just think if it's another move for the business of boxing. Just think what we will be like if he comes out of rehab and continues that kind of behaviour fueled by some kind of substance. Will the rehab help him with any kind of mental or emotional issues that he has? Probably not. That's another issue, isn't it? And if he continues to do that when he comes out, at some point we're going to get bored and say, well, you went in rehab, now it's sad that it's not really taken. It's like those rock stars you see who keep getting arrested in car parks because they're buying crack and heroin and that sort of thing. You think, well, you keep doing it, don't you? How many more chances do you want? That's what we're going to be thinking. I'm kind of thinking it already. But I'm talking about him, aren't I? And maybe in the business of boxing, that's the whole point. Wouldn't that be scary? Ta-ta.